Hey, welcome to The Explainer. You ever look at an organization and wonder what separates the ones that just glide along smoothly from the ones that are, constantly putting out fires? Well, today we are diving deep into that invisible framework that holds all success together: operational support.
It's the question that probably keeps a lot of managers up at night, right? You can have this brilliant idea, a super talented team, even a huge budget, and somehow you still end up watching the whole thing just go completely off the rails. So why does that happen? What's the missing piece?
Well, the answer, and this is the key, usually isn't about luck. It's not about one single genius decision either. It almost always comes down to the strength of the support system holding everything up. And look, this isn't just about helping out. It's a real, structured, and intentional framework for success.
So let's give it a proper name: operational support. The best way to think about it is as the master blueprint for your entire operation. Seriously, it's the detailed plan that makes sure every single action, from the ground floor all the way up to the executive suite, is aligned and actually effective. Without this blueprint, you're not really building a business. You're kind of just guessing and hoping for the best.
Okay, so how do we actually start drafting this blueprint? Well, just like any big construction project, it all starts with gathering the right materials and, of course, the right people. Let's get into part one: gathering your tools and team. The absolute bedrock of your blueprint is having the right resources. And this isn't some abstract idea. We're talking about the tangible stuff, the right software, the necessary equipment, the office space, and the people you actually need on board. I mean, trying to build something without the right raw materials is just a guaranteed recipe for disaster. It's like trying to bake a cake without any flour. You're just going to end up with a sticky mess, not a masterpiece. But here's the thing: having the most advanced, expensive tools in the world is totally useless if nobody knows how to use them. They're just expensive paperweights at that point. And that's where this next piece comes in: competence. This is all about making sure your team has the right skills, the right training, and the experience to execute the plan perfectly. It's really the difference between a pro construction crew building a skyscraper and just a bunch of people standing around with hammers. So you've got the tools and you've got a skilled crew. Great, but there's one more piece to this first part of the puzzle, and it is crucial: awareness. A competent team has to understand the bigger picture. What are the policies? What are the ultimate objectives? And how does their specific job contribute to the final goal? See, when a team is truly aware, they aren't just following orders anymore. They become active partners in the whole mission. They start spotting problems before they blow up and suggesting improvements you never would have thought of.
Okay, so we've got our resources and a team that is both competent and aware. We're ready to start building, right? Almost. Now we have to manage what is truly the lifeblood of any project: information. So let's move on to part two: managing the information flow. Communication is pretty much everything, and you've got to realize it flows in two critical directions. You've got your internal communication. That's how your team stays in sync, making sure everyone is working from the exact same playbook. And then you have external communication. That's how you manage all your relationships with customers, partners, and stakeholders. If you have a breakdown in either one of those channels, the whole project can grind to a halt. Think about it. Ideas and verbal agreements are just so fleeting. They get forgotten, they get misremembered, they get misinterpreted. That's why your master plan has to be formalized, written down. This becomes your documented information. We're talking official procedures, policies, plans, the whole thing. It acts as the single source of truth for everybody. This is the physical blueprint itself.
Right, but a blueprint isn't something you just create once and then frame on the wall. It's a living document. Its life cycle really has three phases. First, you create it. Then, as things inevitably change, you have to be able to update it. And most importantly, you have to control it. Now, this last step is everything. Control is the system that makes sure old, outdated versions are taken out of circulation so that every single person is working from the latest approved plan. Without control, you just get chaos. Seriously, imagine pilots just grabbing random, maybe outdated flight manuals before taking off. That's the level of chaos that good document control prevents.
So as we start to bring this all together, you can hopefully see that these aren't just a bunch of separate ideas. No, they are all interconnected gears in a single powerful machine. So let's do a final check on how you bring this whole blueprint to life.
So here it is, your checklist for a rock-solid operational support system. It really just boils down to these 5 pillars. You need the right resources. You need a team that is both competent and aware. You need clear, effective communication, and you need documented information that is always, always controlled. If you can get these 5 things right, you've built the foundation for consistent, repeatable success.
And really, this says it all, doesn't it? You can have the most innovative product in the world, the most brilliant strategy, but without a strong support structure, a clear blueprint, it is eventually going to crumble under pressure. This is the hard, foundational work that makes everything else possible.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Take a really hard look at your own team, your project, or your entire organization. Is your blueprint for success clear and complete, or are there some pages missing? Because finding and filling in those gaps, that's the first real step to building something truly unshakable. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.